You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 10th, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for Wednesday, August 10th. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Shannon, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Latchford.
Here.
Mr. Freeze.
Here.
Mr. Lang.
Here.
Mrs. Sperling. Here.
The minutes of our July 20th meeting were prepared in advance. Unless there are any changes or corrections, we have a motion to approve.
I so move that we approve the minutes from the July 20th meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any project updates tonight?
There are none.
Old business?
None.
I see we have table business of approval of the public safety information. Let's have a motion to remove from the table.
I would move that we take the approval of public safety information off the table.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford. This item on the agenda that was tabled is a group of rules for the beach. It was tabled because some of the wording was unclear and probably not satisfactory for understanding at the beach. So it was Mrs. Eason who found a more consistent group of rules. This group of rules is used widely through Indiana coasts and also Illinois. This is in your packet, and I'm hoping that you approve that we use the rules put together for both states on the shores of Lake Michigan. We think that would be more consistent and easier to understand. I do notice that the rules are not shown in Spanish, but it was according to Mrs. Eason, the fact that we are going to find some way to get these rules written and interpreted in Spanish. We hope that you approve this type of nomenclature. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Mr. Latchford, I have one comment. This brochure was produced by the Illinois Indiana Sea Grant, who works out of Purdue University. So this is consistent messaging. They are working on translating this into Spanish. They're a little bit behind. This was a year-long project. So the brochure should be available in Spanish in the fall of this year. They've also provided us with a very large safety board that's normally upstairs at City Hall, but we moved it to the boat race, and they have given us boxes of brochures. So this is just a print. Brochures are much easier to read. I do like the fact that this is consistent messaging across the entire southern shores of Lake Michigan. So if you go to the national park, you're going to get this. If you go to Marquette Beach and Gary, you're going to get this. So I think this is more proper to be out. Beach and Gary. So I think this.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions or comments from the board? Thank you, Shannon. Any questions from the board? All right. Is it our intent to distribute this in any particular event, or what's our plan now that we have the brochures?
Our plan is to distribute this at the parking gate, at the main admissions gate, to all of the people, especially when the lake is treacherous or the waves are bad.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No, you had just indicated this is only going to be put out when there is a dangerous situation, such as a red flag. And on a normal day, this is not going to go out. Is that?
That is how we've been operating
Okay,
as of late, but if the board feels that it needs to be sent out at any other time, we'll be glad to do so.
Thank you.
You know, maybe at the gate, it could be offered to every car. Would you like a brochure about rip currents? You know, that way if people already know about it, or, you know, if they already have one, then, because some people might say, yeah, I'll take that, you know, just a thought.
Mhm.
Good idea.
Good point.
And it'd be another thing in the training of someone that you'll have to do, but it's,
No problem.
I did have one question under the B Current Smart, the third column, the one all the way to the right.
Mhm.
In the middle, under how to survive if caught in a current. I didn't quite understand the first one, obviously stay calm. The second one, swim to the side. And I noticed that this was all for rivers as well. So I didn't know if that was more, because I don't know if people be confused about.
You're the second one that brought that up, and we decided maybe it should be swim parallel to shore, but maybe people
Right.
don't understand parallel.
Well,
I don't.
but the third one then says head for the shore, and that's, you're not supposed to do that either. Because you're not supposed to swim against the current because you could wear yourself out, right?
Mhm.
So I was just concerned about that. I didn't know if this was already printed or what was, this is already done. And this, we're just,
Printed by Indiana, Illinois Sea Grant.
yeah,
We don't have a large quantity to pass out right now.
okay,
But we all agreed, we brought that up as well, that our current messaging, which is also shared by the same group. It's very strange
yeah,
that they've changed the language in this brochure.
right,
And they are aware of that. Sea
Yeah.
Grant, that
Yeah.
has to be changed.
Okay.
So if there's another print comes out next year, we requested that they take this out.
Mhm.
Use our consistent graphic of swim parallel to the shore.
right,
Not swim to the side, because that can mean a lot of things.
yeah. It can, it
That's
seems
where
more
the-
like for a river.
Yes.
That makes sense for a river, I guess, but
Yeah,
I don't,
You're
right,
still on the road. So
okay,
that is being addressed. We were trying to get this out immediately. so,
hmm
uh,
oh, mhm.
Labor Day festivals.
Yeah, okay.
I
What-
think, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what about the other rip current, one that we were just talking about
Picture,
1 or 2 meetings ago?
the picture that has to be actually cleared up a little bit, straightened out.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to pass that out as well.
We actually have those brochures as well. Still, we have a pretty good stock.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
Typically, we ask people that are paying customers, or if you see cars that are actually, have beach gear,
hmm
our staff is trained to say, hey, are you going to the beach? Like one of these.
Oh,
We
good.
don't hand them out to every car because they
Yeah.
turn into litter,
Totally, right.
and they're very expensive to print.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, our staff has been doing that also.
hmm Cool.
And they did it at the boat race as well.
Good. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to mention, I'm glad that you brought that up about the point 2 about swim to the side. And I looked at that, but I knew exactly what it meant. But I know about rip currents and a lot of people don't. And so I think that the
Yeah.
fact that you caught that is an excellent idea. And Shannon, I agree that if that can be changed in the future to make a little more sense, they'll probably save a few lives. And that's the intent, obviously.
hmm
Well, like the graphic on the other one, it actually showed what it is. Maybe
Yeah, I like
not everybody can read, and it was a good point. People
Very true.
that.
they may not
really
know
good.
what parallel is, and don't tell them, don't swim perpendicular. Swim parallel.
Yes, yeah.
Anyhow, I thought that graphic was for people who can't read or don't read or know the terminology.
And just a quick comment, I think it'll be a good time to hand these out when people pick up their sticker at the beginning of the year.
That's a good idea.
That'll be a good time to give some of these out as well.
Mhm.
When people come in to get their beach sticker.
Yep.
So is it fair to characterize this as a work in progress and that when improvements can be made, we'll make them and update it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good.
Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Are we gonna hold this or are we rolling with this? particular one.
Well, I guess the motion could be to, approve this since we have some large events coming up, or at least, 90% of it is good. But if the board is concerned about the, how to survive with caught in the current, our next meeting isn't until August 22nd. And I don't know if we have the funds or the ability to print new brochures. So is it better to get something out, even though that section may be confusing,
Yeah.
or not to put anything out at all?
We're handing out the other Rip Current one though.
Correct.
We have that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
So
if we have
this
that,
covers 4 beach conditions, the other
Right.
covers all.
okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if they're handed out in tandem,
Yeah,
at least it addresses that concern.
Okay, gotcha.
well, I would move then that we approve the public safety information printed here handing this out along with the brochure we already have. The Rip Current.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed, motion carries.
All right, we'll move on to new business. And the first is the Park Department second quarter 2022 report.
Yes, included in your packet is our standard second quarter report. In years past, the board used to table this for public comment. The past few reports you have not, because we've never received any public comment. If you have to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions or comments?
I just have a question on page 3. I was just curious at the bottom there, where it has teams and participants. And in the league 16 and under, I was just interested in, is there no interest in that when you get to that age group? Is it all of a sudden there are too many other things that are getting in the way of 16-year-olds? And because there were 33 in 2021 and 2022, not a one.
Correct, Ken. There are a few variables that cause the 16U to be light in the participation. There were 18 applicants, but as you know, 2 teams of 9 does not work.
Yeah.
If one person is sick, then
Right.
there's a forfeit. I also think that the year before that, in 2021, we had a problem with the rules that were made in years past seemed to work in those years, but they didn't work in 2021. And that was that it was a 15 and under league. However, 16-year-olds were allowed to play, but they could not pitch. And the season turned into a little bit of a discrepancy where parents wanted their 16-year-olds to pitch.
Uh-huh.
Some coaches didn't want the 16-year-olds to pitch. We tried it both ways. We made attempts, and it did seem to rub some people the wrong way, and it might have had an effect on some of the participants.
Got it. Thank you.
Ed, is there for any of these 8, 10, 12, or 16, is there a cutoff date for if your birthday is such and such a date? Let's say I'm 15 and my birthday is August 1st. Could I still that year play at 15 and under, even though my birthday would be perhaps before the season's over?
Well, there was a cutoff date, and I think that was April 30th.
Okay.
I'm not wrong. Yeah, I think it was April 30th. So we worked around that. And then, of course, we had the play up and play down, which was a success. We didn't have a lot of them, but yeah, we did stick to the cutoff date as best we could.
I know, having been involved in baseball for many, many years, Munster and Crown Point, there was concern because their participation also dropped for a couple of reasons. Travel ball being the big reason for the older kids. And they worked out a situation where they could have the in-town league and the kids could also play on their travel team. They worked out the schedule for the city games to be played when they wouldn't conflict with the travel team. And I noticed the American Legion baseball is dying all over, not just around here, but all over participation. I mean, there's still American Legion teams, but not as many as there used to be. So the travel ball has had a big effect on high school age kids.
Travel ball seemed to help Marquette volleyball years ago. If you recall, they won
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5 state champions in a row. And that was good for volleyball, but baseball, it seems to me that to build a strong league in the city, that you need to keep the kids together, and travel ball does tend to deter that.
Well, speaking of volleyball, they still have that. They have the Dunes, and then they have the Aloha something over in Valpo or Chesterton. They're all over, and they go all year round. The unfortunate thing for a lot of this is that it's very expensive, so not every child can participate in any of these sports.
Well, our T-ball amount of participants got larger. So there is an age where the parents and the kids like to play. So if we can keep them from burning out and keep their interest, maybe it'll come back. And if you think that we should consider travel ball players in the league and schedule games around their games, that could work.
Well, they have had success. They Munster and Crown Point. I don't really know the particulars other than they work together.
I see.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question on page 6, and by the way, Shannon, this is very detailed as always, and an excellent report. But under park maintenance, one of the items there bullet that says constant repair to the mechanics of Millennium Fountain. And maybe Pat could answer that. Is it in danger? Is the pumping mechanism, or is it just showing its age, or is there danger of failure? And is this going to be something expensive?
Welcome.
Patrick Bowles, Maintenance Director. It's several things. The fan filter is currently bypassed, but that doesn't work. The wind gauge does not work properly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. We have solenoids that help automate the filling of the fountain. Again, sometimes that works. Sometimes we have to go in and manually do it. That if it's not working properly, it causes pumps to shut down. So we have to restart those. And so it's been a little bit of everything.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Do you know if that's been addressed in any sort of capital request?
For 2023.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
On this?
Mhm.
Yeah, I got a few. On the old bandstand that the project, it was showing that the project total, that's on page 2, was 200,000, but below it just totals 100,000. I didn't look at our previous whole project on that. That's all covered, isn't it? The old bandstand project, right? Yeah. Okay.
It's missing the Lake Michigan coastal program.
Okay. I thought it was all covered. And then on page 3, the parking operation revenue under park stickers, that was up 31%. Is that, I was just wondering what that was attributed to. That's a lot. That's awesome.
I think it's up because people are realizing the value now that the parking fee went from $8 to $15 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So there's a real value to county residents to buy a $25 sticker.
Yeah. Okay.
So now that's an actual number.
Yeah.
Got it as well.
Yeah. And is that something, not to punish people at all, but I mean, should we have a higher price for the county? I
We
mean,
absolutely need to consider that, not joke.
yeah. Okay. And then under the, what was it? Oh, the baseball, I guess it's part of the baseball. Yeah, recreation. I was just looking at on page 4, the top section, the revenue and expenses, the porta pots. That seems like a lot of money for a couple hundred players. I mean, 2021 was 6,200 and 2022 was 3,600. Is that pulling in from soccer and everybody, or is that?
That would be the use of porta pots at Patriot Park. And of course, we have BPA and NSA as well playing there on weekends.
Oh, so that there's other revenue.
Unless this number was extracted for the use only for our youth baseball, but I'm not sure if that was.
No,
Yeah.
that is just for use
Oh,
baseball. It's the porta pots that are added for baseball at Patriot. So you have park porta pots that are there all year.
Yeah.
We add these for baseball.
Wow.
Gardena,
Okay.
Pines Park, Nelson Park,
Okay.
porta pots are extremely expensive.
Okay. And then just under the uniforms, medals, and trophies, that in 2021 it was $8,400, and then this year was $1,134. I just thought that was a huge difference. I didn't know if maybe
Mhm.
2021 was not correct, or.
that one there, I'm gonna have to check.
Yeah,
That
okay.
got by me.
Okay. What else here? Okay, and then on page 6, at the bottom, all the work that Pat and his awesome team does. I was just wondering, and I've noticed this, and I know we've talked about this with the contracts, like are fees enough to cover all the expenses that it takes to for someone to put on an event? And I know you have them listed here: food truck, pride, sand sculpture, festivals, all of that. I mean, this is a lot of work, taking all this stuff up and down and moving it around. And so I just wanted to mention that. I know we've talked about looking at those contracts, right? And the fees.
Yes, so we'll address that as well. In
Yeah.
October.
Okay.
Every year we sit down and we actually figure the cost of where we trash barrels out,
Yeah.
including liners.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Petroleum products.
Yeah.
Very.
Right.
We do that
sure.
on an annual basis.
Okay.
And set fees for major stuff.
Okay.
Just to piggyback on that, we often talk about making sure that our programming is self-sustaining, and it obviously isn't, or it hasn't been for the last 2 years, not even close. When you're looking at page 4, some of the expenses that Diane pointed out, we're running these programs at a loss. So we either have to just accept that we're going to run them at a loss, but don't kid ourselves that we're running them to be self-sustaining when we're not. We just have to acknowledge that.
Mhm.
And if we need to make changes in the fee structure, we'll have to evaluate that versus the loss in participants. But I think over the last few years, we've said, yes, they're self-sustaining. And they aren't, so.
I would like you to note, the sponsorship donations did double in the last year.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we did start the sponsorship of signs out in the field, which we're going to try to improve out both of those items.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See what we can do.
On page 9 with the golf maintenance department, it showed that the revenue is down this year over last year by like 4,000. I mean, not much, but it's down. But then the personnel services and the supplies are up quite a bit. So I just.
Well, I know why. I can guess why the income is down is because in the beginning of the golf season, the weather was not as good as it was
Right.
last year.
Mhm.
In that case,
But then maybe people are still there in case they're just scheduled to work and.
Well,
then
I
the weather's
suppose-
good.
people are still there to do the work to maintain the course.
Yeah.
The personnel services, due to raises, the city gave them 20.
Oh, okay.
As far as supplies, I'd have to check the golf director.
And that could be just the increase in everything,
My guess is the majority of that is going to be fertilizer. I know in past years, we didn't really have much of a budget to work with for pesticides. And you can only cut pesticides so much at a golf course or Patriot.
Mhm,
Yeah, and they share.
mhm.
So they co-op those to get a
Mhm.
better price.
Yeah,
I'll check with the golf director, but do you recall him mentioning? Yeah. Given they'll be an increase in 2023
Yeah.
budget request to go back to the normal fertilization program.
Mm.
Yeah.
right. And like I said,
I'll check.
okay, so like I said, I know everything is getting more expensive, so that could be it. And I think I just had one more on the final page, page 13 for the zoo, was it? Kind of same thing that, the revenue was down, but the, personnel was up substantially, but I know we approved new positions too. Did that started then? That's in that quarter.
Correct.
Okay,
And that's not their full pay. They started, I want to say 5 months into the year. So it's raises for the 7 full timers and
got it. Okay, that's all I have. Okay.
Just had one other question on page 9. They mentioned the electrical or lightning strike, which with damage. Just want to make sure if the extent of that damage is greater than our deductible, we should consider an insurance claim if we haven't already. Well, we may have to, after deciding not to table reports, we may have to table it this time to have those issues corrected and adjusted and brought back to us for the next meeting. And that's the old bandstand, correcting that. And then there were some,
Trophies and uniforms
looking at that, the supplies question.
and lightning.
I just had one question on page 10. On June, education says do camp started with every week filled and an ongoing waiting list. Unfortunately, we do not have the classroom space or staff to take on any more than 15 to 18 students per session. I was just interested, where are they needing that particular problem is that just something we've always had, that there's not enough space, but what building are they meeting in?
You're meeting in the old concession stand. It actually used to be the zoo entrance gate. It's on the west side. So the very far west
Yeah, okay.
side. of the zoo.
Yes.
Very limited space in there. Some of the board members might recall when we built the new concession stand on the east side of the zoo, it included a classroom. Then we moved the concession into that classroom, so we lost a lot of space. The zoo is working on a design right now for a new gift shop classroom with storage space to address this.
Cool.
It's a fantastic, great if we could have more kids.
Absolutely.
So interest is up, space.
Thank you.
Well,
Any other questions or comments? Considering that
Table this.
probably the best thing to do is to table it to next meeting.
I would move that we table the second quarter report. So that at our next meeting, perhaps the corrections can be made to the report.
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next we have 4 resolutions and number 9, 66, 67, 68, 69. Unless there's an objection by the board, I'll read all the whereases on the first one and then just get to the meat on the next 3.
Mhm.
All right, so resolution number 966, whereas the superintendent of the Park and Recreation Department has reported that certain transfer funds are necessary within the budget of the Michigan City Park Department and Parks and Recreation, and because of unanticipated expenses from various accounts which do not have sufficient funds available for disbursement for said expenses, and whereas there are funds available for said expenses in various other accounts which are not expected to be paid from said accounts during the remainder of this budget year, and whereas the Michigan City Park and Recreation Board has determined that said expenses are necessary and that an account transfer should be made in order to meet said expenses now, therefore be resolved that the following transfer be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts for the purposes stated therein. Decrease fund 2056502, admin fund seasonal wages 42,000, and increase fund 2056502, admin contractual $42,000. Unless there are questions, we have a motion to approve resolution number 966.
I so move that we approve resolution number 966.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, next is resolution number 967, decrease fund 2062 golf fund regular wages and increase fund 2062 golf fund gasoline 15,000, diesel 7,000, repair parts 5,000. There are no questions or comments. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 967?
I so move that we accept resolution number 967.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 968, decrease fund 2056504 Zoo Food 7,800, increase fund 2056504 Zoo Fund Contractual 7,800. I do have a motion to approve resolution number
Just
968.
have a comment. Brian brought this up that I can't remember either the last time Zoo Food didn't get an addition. I see that they have. Is there a reason why $7,800 is left over? Aren't we feeding the animals? Or
The animals,
feeding the big animals, the little ones? Or do you have any idea of why it's? I mean, I'm just curious. The groceries aren't any cheaper. That's for sure.
It's not that there's money actually left over. They do have money in their gifts and donations for Zoo Food, and this is for kind of an emergency purchase of a slide gate for one of the entrances
No,
that currently opens out into Lakeshore Drive. And we have construction going on there, so it's kind of a dangerous situation. This was put in our capital request, but it's been determined that this needs to be done.
okay,
For public safety on Lakeshore Drive and also for staff.
thank you. I'll move that we accept resolution 968.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and fourth and last is resolution number 969, decrease fund 2056505 maintenance fund seasonal wages 13,000, and increase fund 2056505 maintenance fund contractual 10,000, and repairs and maintenance 3,000.
I so move that we accept resolution number 969.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We have one other item on the agenda under new business, and that is the Michigan City Zoological Society request for additional passes. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. I'm Richard Warner, the Vice President of Michigan City. I have to remember Michigan City Zoological Society, their name's changed. Yes, but first of all, I would like to, before I go on any further, is everybody aware that Team WHM this past weekend has donated another $12,000 to the Big Cat Fund?
Congratulations.
Okay, so yeah, that was quite amazing to me.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as the zoo passes, we have 9 remaining. I believe we received 12 at the beginning of the year.
The MOU states the Zoo Society can give away 12 zoo, or not
12,
10 zoo members.
10. Okay, so we have 9 remaining. And I'm asking if we could possibly roll those 9 remaining zoo passes over to the 2023 season along with the additional 10. That way, this past year, we haven't had but 2 fundraisers, and we've really not had an opportunity to give anything away for a lot of different reasons. So if if you consider rolling those things over till the next season, I'd appreciate that. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Questions or, hold on 1 minute. Any questions or comments from the board?
No?
Questions or comments from the public? See, no.
Okay, good.
Thank
Thank
you. All right,
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we okay the movement of the 9 memberships to the 2023 year to be given away, along with the 10 that will be given away in the year 2023 also.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Good luck with that fundraising. Any other new business that we need to attend to?
No, sir.
All right, that moves us to superintendent's report. Mr. Shi.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford.
You're welcome.
Would I have access to the screen?
Yes, clicker is not working, so.
Okay, you can bring up the first picture.
More here, so we'll make sure you get it right over.
Okay, it would be under superintendent's report. Pictures are not important. If there's a problem, no problem. James, we can move on without the pictures. That's not important.
Bill, did you need to sign these 2 here? Oh. Yeah, I had 6. Let's hope this right, sign mine.
I don't think, what it says,
Okay. No extras.
Yeah, I took the extra out. Tell your dad happy birthday.
I will.
Yeah. I'll-
So.
Would read my report, flash through the pictures after.
Sounds good.
Okay. Good evening. I would like to report on the boat race, Joe Hawkins Park site visit, the zoo, the windstorm, golf course, Gardena Park, Hanson Park, maintenance, and youth baseball. Many favorable public comments about the boat race were received by the park department. The event took a lot of coordination between fire, police, paramedics, parking staff, park maintenance, EMA, 911 personnel, and the events planner, Terry Greetham. Each year, this event has improved, and the next year we will plan on ironing out some of the problems regarding supervision at entrances and exits, not against Shannon's park supervision, but with some of the supervision that we lacked later in the evening. Joe Hawkins Park site visit. Playground equipment at Joe Hawkins Park was in good condition, very good condition. The landscape was well manicured and the recycling bins were being used properly. There were no signs of vandalism, and the park is kept very well and maintained very well. The zoo construction at the Big Cat Lair is going well. Foundation activity is underway and reinforced concrete is being placed. I will report on the next phase of construction as things progress. The windstorm. Last week, the city was hit by a strong storm. Our parks, zoo, and golf course were hit hard. Fallen branches were left everywhere, and our staff responded promptly to clear our property and some adjacent streets of fallen debris. I would like to thank John Marshall, Pat Volz, and Jamie Huss for going above and beyond to ensure the safety with their quick response. The golf course. According to John Marshall, our ground superintendent, rain and insects weakened 2 trees and caused their failure. This was compounded by the windstorm the following day. Golf maintenance personnel accomplished tree and limb removal across 36 holes, a commendable achievement in a short period of time. Gardena Park. One white oak tree had been rotting at a section of the trunk with burrowing insects. One tree had oozing trunk wound of about 20 foot above ground. The water fountain was not draining, and that's something that I'll report, Patrick. I know you get a lot of things from me that go on and are never ending. I also want to state that our intern, Dominic Yankee, is very interested in the proper growth of trees, and now our site visits include checking the trees and making sure that they are growing properly. Hanson Park, need to install service dogs are welcome signs on the park rules sign. They've been worn off, and we will be doing that this before the week's over. The park sign has been vandalized with some graffiti. One large garbage bag of purple loosestrife, that's a invasive plant, has been removed by Dominic the intern. The infestation of this purple loosestrife had not worsened since last year, but remains widespread in some areas. The playground equipment was in use during our visit. Maintenance. Fallen branches and debris from the storm were rapidly removed from our parks and Lakeshore Drive by our maintenance staff just days before the boat race. Our short-staffed park maintenance personnel worked tirelessly to keep Washington Park operational throughout the boat race. The following morning, they also worked hard to clean up after the big event. Youth baseball. Our summer baseball season has concluded. Individual and team improvement was demonstrated during the tournaments, according to our youth baseball director, Kerry Kraczynski. For example, the tournament championship games in both the 12U and the 10U resulted in winning rallies in the last inning. And that's something that's very exciting in baseball, by the way. Parents and spectators were very impressed with the implementation of the Michigan City Baseball League this year. Many of them are already excited for next year. Kerry Kraczynski ran a well-organized league. He led teams, practices, developing pitchers and catchers, and the importance of team play. Mr. Kraczynski has gone above and beyond my expectations. Our T-ball age group continued to have the largest number of participants, and we look forward to other age groups increasing in the future. And that concludes my report, and periodically you have to ask me what the vandalism was, but I'm prepared without you asking. Patriot Park had one break-in, and I'm thinking that was an outbuilding. with nothing stolen. Stop signs, 2 stop signs were stolen. They were replaced, and then 3 stop signs were stolen after that. Tall Timbers Park, 1 picnic table burned and broken, 2 graffiti on the shelter, playground, sidewalk, bench, and garbage cans were dumped all over. We have at the Singing Sands Trail, dumping of garbage out of the back of a truck happened twice. We have a car accident taking down a traffic sign on Singing Sands Trail. At Memorial Park, whether or not it was vandalism or an accident, I must tell you that a sign by vehicular impact was taken down, and that's the historic sign and the flag light in the front of the building. At North Point Pavilion, the chairlift was vandalized and the electric is not working. At Hanson Park, somebody melted the safety pads that are on the ground, and a water line was pulled out of the wall in Lot 2. That concludes the vandalism report.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions or comments for the superintendent?
What a shame.
I'd just like to thank all the members of the park department who tirelessly did so much work in preparation for the Grand Prix and in cleaning up the damage from the storm. And Rich Warner is here and Pat Bolt, so you guys did a beautiful job. And if you would convey that, and Ed and Shannon, if you simply convey that to the rest of the people, that our hats are off to you, because you did a yeoman's amount of work. And when all of this was over, the park looks beautiful as if nothing had ever happened. So fantastic job. Thank you.
Same with the golf course, and I'll pass that on.
Thank you.
Well said. Any questions or any other questions or comments?
A quick comment regarding the maintenance crew and what they do regarding keeping up these parks. Shannon, how many parks do we actually have right now? I remember a number from way before. I'm sure it's more than what we had before.
16 neighborhood parks, Washington Park, 600.
Okay. And the reason I wanted her to put that number out there in the public is there's a lot going on, and year after year, going back to 2009, 2010, when I was a board member here, we were losing maintenance people, full-time maintenance people, all that time, adding additional responsibilities and losing people. So it becomes very difficult, for them to keep up with the maintenance. And I just want the public to be able to understand that they do their best out there. And, I pat them all on the back. And, if I have an issue that I see with anything, whether it's a park department, street department, whatever, I just send a text message to the guys and say, hey, can you go take a look at this? My way of communicating. But I just wanted to say, that they do a dang good job out here maintaining these parks. And I think they deserve recognition from time to time. It's tough to work your tail off and your morale starts to go south when you don't hear those words of somebody, saying you're doing a good job out there and we appreciate what you do. So I just wanted all of our city workers, especially since I'm here at the meeting with the park department staff, to be recognized.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for mentioning that.
I was in contact, I see him a lot, but the secretary of the Port Authority, he takes rides early in the morning, and he complimented our staff on the cleanliness of the beach early in the morning. And he thought that it really was nice, and the boaters appreciate the cleanliness of not only their area, but the entire beach.
Thank you, Phil. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you. We'll move on to liaison reports. Planning Commission liaison did have a meeting, but there was nothing pertaining to the park. Port Authority, Mr. Freeze.
Yes, it had a meeting last Monday, but it was primarily dealing with just the boat race information.
Thank you. And the Zoological Society, Mr. Lang.
Yes, the Zoological Society met last night, and a few items here just to cover. The zoo had a surprise visit, and Rich, you can correct me on this, was that from the American Zoological Society? Surprise. Yes, it was a surprise visit, and these are common, and you never know when that's going to occur. And the zoo passed with flying colors. This was something that President last night, Johnny Finley, had mentioned. And next year they will be back with a 3-day inspection. I'm not sure exactly when it is. That could be a surprise also, but it will be a 3-day where they look at absolutely everything. The website, I think I'd mentioned at the last meeting, has been updated. Some people had asked why the bird exhibit had been open and then closed and open and closed. And a lot of that had to do with the bird flu. And also going along with the birds, if you like parakeets, there are now an addition of 72 more. So I don't know how you unload 72 parakeets if you line them up and ask them to fly in single file to get into the aviary. But there are 72 additional parakeets, and the little kids like those because they have the seed sticks, and you hold those things out and the birds land on and they love to feed. So that's something that kids really enjoy. Also, Johnny had mentioned the Barker Foundation had donated $45,000 toward the Big Cat House, and there was supposed to be an article in the Herald Dispatch in the coming week. Also, the Zoo Society received a $1,000 donation from the Andrew and Marie Smith Foundation. They also received $10,000 from the Kessling Foundation, which is going to be used for work on Monkey Island. They're still in the progress of changing and doing signage and wayfinding, signs that say zoo this direction. We've got those signs in various places that say casino, things like that, but they don't necessarily say zoo. So that is in the works. Also, as Richard had mentioned, Bill Mall at the meeting on Saturday night, again, donated $12,000 extra to the Big Cat construction. And so that believes, I think, Richard, you said that's something like $36,000 that William M. has donated, which is fantastic. Plans are still on for the Polar Plunge and the soup and chili cook-off. This is going to be on the 17th of December, with the plunge occurring at noon and the soup and chili competition at 1 p.m. and that will be at the Senior Center. So that ends the report from the Zoo Society.
Wow. Very productive meeting, and seems like they're getting traction on many different fronts.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lang. Ms. Nierenberg, any report tonight? Any director's reports tonight?
No.
Right, Department of Finances, back to you, Mr. Lang.
All right, Michigan City Park Department claims docket for August the 10th, 2022. Municipal, $131,238.85. Golf petty cash, $3,238.15. Zoo endowment, none at this time. Bringing the claims docket, total claims for August the 10th, $134,477. And I so move that we approve the claims docket for August the 10th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Payroll number 14 with the pay date of July the 15th, 2022. A total payroll of $104,791.72. I so move that we recognize payroll number 14 for 2022.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Payroll number 15 with a pay date of July 29th, 2022. a total payroll of $99,986.16. I so move that we approve payroll number 15.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, under gifts and donations, Jeffrey Kohler, zoo donation of $100. One unknown, a zoo donation, $61.08. Sue Woodland, a donation, zoo donation in memory of Tim Bennett. Another zoo donation, Roundup program, $144.31. The WHM zoo donation, Big Cat House, which was previously mentioned, but this is under gifts and donations, $12,000. Kroger zoo donation of $97.80. Powerboat P1 USA is zoo donation of $400. I so move that we accept the gifts and donations.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under minor transfers, there are none at this time. Zoo endowment, none at this time. Board of Works, none at this time. Under credit card charges totaling $2,188.82 were paid to corporate payment systems for the following: art committee plate for turtle sculpture, $400.07. Administration signs for parking, $250.03. Zoo concessions, disposable forks, $69.18. Concessions, drop safe boat races, $899.99. Maintenance, toner cartridges, $118.89. Administration Women's Leadership Summit, $289.71. Vistaprint Zoo Gift Shop postcards, $160.95. Again, that brings total charges of $2,188.82. I so move that we approve the credit card charges.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
And that ends the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Line.
You are very welcome.
Any comments from the public tonight?
Patrick Bowles, Maintenance Director. Want to take a moment to apologize to you all. There was a comment last week in reference to some work ethics and our time management. And I felt that was a little harsh for a lot of our employees. I know how hard they work. I know they come early, they stay late, work 7 days a week. In case of a lot of us, 1 day or two off since or late spring. So if there's any blame for any of that, that should go to me, never be put on them. My job is to show how hard they are working and how much they're doing. And I might have failed them a little bit in that area, but I don't want that on them. So.
Well, Patrick, it's funny. My comment tonight was going to be just the opposite of that, recognizing the hard work and effort, but beyond that, even recognizing the fact that as tough days as you guys have, I run into them a bit in the morning. They don't know who I am, but they always find time to say hi and wave back. Mm-hmm. Same with the parking attendants. They could just wave you through. They don't. They smile and wave. Mm-hmm. It just, as a casual observer and maybe a little more vested than someone else, you're in a park and they make you feel welcome. So it's a shadow of a leader there. So they're getting it from you. So you don't be so hard on yourself and maybe pat yourself on the back.
Amen.
Job well done.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the public? Welcome. We just ask that you state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Andy Perez. I'm with NBC Sports Next Technology. Shannon, nice to meet you. I believe this is an area that I would comment on the agreement. So the golf courses have utilized our technology for many years. Golfnow.com is the tee time distribution platform. We're posting tee times, and the facility's doing really well this year, up 32% on rounds and 43% on revenue. But The technology that you're currently utilizing, we're going to deprecate. And so I've sent over a proposal to Chris. I did a demo with Chris in March at the facility. That is a server-based technology platform, T-Sheet and point of sale system. And we are moving that to the cloud. So it is called G1 and it's a fully cloud system. All technology these days are moving to the cloud. So we will deprecate that at the end of the year. It also entails credit card processing. We are our own internal credit card processing service. So you currently utilize Elevon today, formerly ETS. I sent over the credit card analysis that we did for the facility, and we look to save the business about $3,000 annually on savings there from credit card processing charges. So all those fees are in the proposal. One benefit, we're looking to transition courses earlier than like the fall or winter. So one of the all of our installations are done remotely from our team out of Orlando or all around the country. But one offer that we're doing right now is if you sign in August, we will have an on-site installer at the facility for the month of September. So as the season starts to slow down, it's not as busy as July, June, and August, putting pressure on, Chris and the team while they're running tournaments. If we can get the install done by the end of September and flip it, which is a fairly seamless transition, we can have an on-site installer helping the team during that whole entire week go live process. So proposals in hand with Shannon. I can shoot over, the agreement once approved, and then we can get that process rolling.
So in regard to timing, our next meeting is August 22nd.
Okay.
We have nothing before us tonight. We haven't seen the contract. So if it happens to get before us at that meeting and we approve it, is that still an opportunity to take advantage of the August install?
Yeah, absolutely. We could turn around. Absolutely. If it's approved on that meeting, then we can turn around and make it happen in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the board's knowledge, it was my intent to put that contract on your agenda tonight. However, I had some questions about the credit card comparison. Andy did June, July, and August, which gave the course of savings of about $1,200. But I wanted it spreadsheeted out for the entire year.
That was completed. Yes.
And that
oh
was
yeah.
completed.
Yeah.
So savings was over 3,000. I had a couple other minor questions, and that's the reason it didn't make the agenda for tonight. But all the information has been provided from our internal staff, from Andy, so we'll be on the agenda for August 26th.
Thank you. And Shannon, in regard to doing that legwork before it gets to the board, I appreciate very much because that just helps. Believe it or not, it's not on the agenda tonight, but that's going to expedite things because you put in all the work ahead of time before we ask the questions and have to table it.
Sounds good. Any other questions on technology or golf course?
You see anything that we could do differently or better out the golf course to improve the whole Golf Now experience or the whole golfing experience in general?
I think one thing that we'd look to upgrade in the agreement is the website, make it a little bit more mobile friendly, call to action on there from a tee time booking perspective, as well as add some new photos and things along those lines. And then I'm not sure on the email marketing component, but maybe touching base to see how many actual email campaigns are going out to the database. We're collecting all that data from Golf Now bookings as well as the course booking engine. There's some room there to kind of get the uptick of rounds and communication out to your database, engaging them, all the new golfers that have come to the business. Another key component, which I'm not sure if the team was involved or aware of, because you're a partner with NBC Sports and Comcast as our parent company, we have a program that is free for the Park District to use called Club Buy. So this is a food savings program. So it doesn't matter. It could be in golf. It could be in any department in the Park District that we extend savings to the business with our providers. US Foods is our purveyor. But there's other areas for furniture, paper products, all those kind of goods that could save the business money in this time of inflation. So we're bringing that up to all of our course partners. It's free. There's no contract. It's just as a course partner, technology partner of ours, we're extending that, discount because of our reach as, a large company.
Sure. All those value added services are paramount.
Yes,
supposed
right
to help
now.
Strengthening the partnership.
Absolutely.
Especially with the effectiveness of our email campaigns. If you see our effectiveness and you know what the general rate is, and if we're doing great, fantastic. But if we're falling below, then you could help us make the changes that we need to get at least up to standard benchmarking
Absolutely.
in terms of effectiveness.
And I can share some of those reports on a monthly basis with Chris as well. Just, unique visits to the site, unique traction, how many people are actually going to golf now and booking tee times. We have all that data to relay to the team.
Great.
Mhm.
Any other questions from the board?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from public? Yes. Thank you.
Right, totally.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name's Jacob Hill, and my family and I are residents of Sheridan Beach on California Avenue. And I think what I'm bringing forth today, and I want to say right off the bat that your staff has been very helpful. Park District staff have been wonderful to talk to and work with and answer some questions. And I think what I'm going to bring up is something that's probably a topic that has been brought up several times before, but I thought it was worthy to just bring it back into under your scrutiny or something that might be done about it. And that concerns animals on Washington Park beaches, specifically unleashed animals. And that's something that we've noticed lately, specifically unleashed being a problem that seems to be waiting to happen, in that these dogs can be aggressive towards beachgoers and other even prohibited but leashed animals on the beach. And I would think it puts the Park District at risk with regards to liabilities for bites and injuries and other things that might happen. And recently having noticed this, I wonder if there's a possibility there where seeing that is sort of the broken window effect. We're seeing dogs on the beach inspires other transient beach visitors to bring their dogs to the beach. That is allowed. And some of this is related to recent vandalism, of course, where some of the signs that showed that animals weren't prohibited on the beach had been removed. And that's something I talked with staff about and been very helpful. I'm sure this is something that's been, again, discussed before, and there have been talks about how to deal with that, whether it's additional signage or additional enforcement or cameras or what have you. I just want to make sure that city residents aren't put in a position where they feel like they have to be the ones to do their part in terms of enforcement. I think that creates venues for confrontation, and that's something I think we want to avoid in general on the beach. To avoid verbal and physical altercations, which we have witnessed due to beach visitors with animals, displaying lack of control or pet waste or fighting, animal fighting or other safety concerns. So we're trying to avoid those confrontational scenarios, and we ask for your help in that and ways in which we could alleviate those situations. And whatever the answer, because all these beach visitors, are always new crops of people coming to the beach. I think it has to be a sustained, ongoing effort, something that we can all help out and do our part with, but something that not just a one and done solution. And I'm sympathetic, of course, being a former dog owner. My oldest son is allergic, so no longer have any dogs. But because the presence of animals, especially unleashed, we think exposes the Park District to many liabilities, we hope that this can be addressed sooner rather than later. So thank you very much for giving me the chance to do some public comment.
Thank you for
And thank you for all your work.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. It's as you mentioned, it's a common problem, and we address it. It's an ordinance violation, so the only one that can really enforce it are the police. If it becomes a problem, I recommend you call the police rather than engage directly with the person with the dog. And we'll do our best as we, any sign that's been removed will get replaced. But signs only can go so far too. Anyone else that wants to, if there's anything else you can add, but it's a constant problem and one that we're aware of, and we'll continue to strive to enforce as best we can.
Yeah, Mr. Hill, I know you've been late. I've been trying to inform people that there's a sign that says no dogs, and I get all kinds of answers. This is my service dog. One lady told me she had a psychological problem. Without her dog, she would go crazy. And then some of us had some words. I have a short fuse to start with. And what are you going to do about it? Then I certainly don't want to get arrested for beating anybody up. So we are trying, but the people are so belligerent. They just, I agree with you. Go down there in the morning, the dogs are just running around. I wish there was something we could do, but Mr. Latchford said, the police are really the only ones. But hang in there. Keep telling them no dogs.
Real quick question. Are you a part of the Sheridan Beach Homeowners Association? Do you come to those meetings?
I have been to those meetings, I am a part, although we haven't had one.
They do the Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July, and then in September, right at Labor Day. So they have another one on the Labor Day. I think it's the 3rd of September, actually. So a lot of times, some of the people out there, when I come to that meeting, I go to all of those meetings, they will address issues like this to me, and I'll get in contact with the police and, see some of the things that we can do regarding this. So I'll try to help you out as best I can with that. So that is correct. So if you want to give me information after this, I don't, like I said, I don't know if you're in the email group that comes from Ms. Pendo. Okay. So you can respond to that and talk to me that way as well, if you want to do that.
Thank you, Brian. Any other comments from the public?
President Latchford, I'd just like to point out on the financial report, there was a charge to the credit card, $400.07 for the art committee. I'm the treasurer of the public art committee. We have a fund under the city's general fund. However, we don't have a credit card. So I just wanted to point out that the parks department did invoice public art. This did not come out of the parks budget.
Thank you for that clarification, Shannon. Any comments from the public, from the board tonight?
I just, one other comment, Mr. Hill. I think all of us here share your frustration. And as Mr. Freeze has mentioned, the people do get confrontational. And I have had people say, well, you're on the park board. Why don't the park employees that see this, why don't they do something? And the comment there is, because it is an ordinance, people that are employed by the city do not have arresting or fining abilities. And the police department is the only one that can actually do that. And that does get very frustrating. My wife and I have confronted people, and just share one thing to you, just to give you an idea. This woman had her dog on the beach, and the dog had just finished doing his duty. And my wife said, "What are you going to do about that?" And she looked at my wife and she looked at me, and she took her foot and she covered it up with the beach sand and just smiled at us. And I think that's probably some of the things that you get. And again, you don't want to be confrontational, because you never know. In our confrontational society now, you can say something and somebody pulls out a gun or something, and you just have no idea. And I wish I could tell you that we could do something about that. We can't have. At one time, we did have a park department policeman who made the rounds, and again, staffing does not allow that now, and maybe in the future we can have that again. But I share the same frustration with you, is that some people just don't care. And it is very, very frustrating. And in the future, if there's a possibility that we can do something with the ordinance to have more enforcement, or to have other people who might have the ability to enforce that and to write a ticket or a fine, we will certainly do that. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. It's just a problem that is ongoing. But again, thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. Any other comments from the board tonight? All right, seeing none, our next meeting is going to get out of cadence a bit. It's going to be on Monday, August 22nd in the EOC room at 5 p.m. A motion to adjourn?
So move.